get started. We've got some exciting things and we've got a lot of information. So let's start with bucket fills. What do we got that's good going on? Bucket fills, congratulations. Heather.
I'd like to bucket fill the Bethany Nelson group for doing this awesome contact today. It's become a regular thing and have more people join in. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I want to piggyback on that because they let me sit in with their team meeting this morning and script practice, and I got to see two things. One, hear how Bethany is, you know, the script that they're using with their clients, and secondly, to see how she leads. And that was really profound too. So I'm really grateful. Maybe I don't think she's here yet.
She's calling.
There we go. I happen to.
I have. Love it. Awesome. Who else? What else is good that's happening? Bucket fills, anything?
I want to bucket fill. Chris stepped in big and did some showings for me on the 3rd of July, but went above and beyond. My clients ended up canceling the second showing, but then kind of wanted to go to another property. So we took them out to coffee for a little bit in between, and just excellent client care on my behalf. So he did a great job. They were very appreciative. So this was a major help. So, and they bought one of the houses. So there you go, Chris.
More good stuff going on.
Wendy, I love your stuff. Like,
So much good stuff. So on Saturday, I had clients that we set up a showing for Monday. I got a call from the agent. We're calling for highest and best today. We did a little scramble, got over there, put in an offer, got it accepted.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 listings going live on Friday. Like, how good a week is that?
okay, so if you had a bad day, maybe you should just like get Wendy's energy that's going on right here and like suck it all in. Oh, there's Bethany. We were just talking about you. Wendy particularly.
I did. I said, thank you for letting me sit in on your team and hear how you're scripting. That was really helpful. And also to see how you lead. That's also.
Awesome,
I would
awesome.
have then bucket fill Jess and Heather on our team because I just showed up and I showed up honestly late this morning. So, and they had everything set up for call day today. So it's really nice.
Teamwork. All right. What else? What else we got that's good? Anything? Anyone on Zoom?
With our calls this morning, we've already set 3 appointments.
Hi. Oh, wow. So you make calls and appointments get set. Sorry. I was like,
People get added to your date. I've added 5 new people to my database today. Too.
like it works, right? Nice. Awesome. Lydia's not here, but I want to bucket fill Lydia. As I called Heather on the phone and she's like, when Lydia's not here, she's like, we overdo conference rooms and this. And I don't think we thank everybody enough on the things that we think are small that are not small. They're like very huge. So she's not here, but want to bucket fill her as well because all of the things that she does on a daily basis is remarkable.
It's just kind of, you know, when you have a smaller staff and even on a smaller team, the few people, when one of them is gone, it really, you can.
Except for me, we figured out that there's no change in the chain when I'm gone. Everyone's like, bye.
Do we switch Zoom links? There's someone trying to get on that.
Same Zoom link as the one that was sent out last from Lydia. I will send it out right now as well.
It was last week,
Thank
but
you,
not.
Katie. Awesome. All right, let's move on. If no one else has any other bucket fills. All right, so we have the block party today too. That is being sponsored by the Brahma Real Estate Group team. They're not in here right now because I think they're down prepping for that.
I'm gonna go help them.
So if you don't know, if no one's met them, make sure to introduce yourself. I know that Rick actually has his shirt on. I haven't seen Sherry, but that's put on by them today. So it's going to be fun. I think I saw burgers and chips and whatever else that they're putting out there. So immediately after the team meeting, go down into the parking lot and you should see the girl going. One moment.
So is it always immediately after? It's not 12:30 anymore?
Nope,
Or-
it's immediately after. I know.
Perfect.
All right, so here is the 100 contact call day that we just got updated on. If you guys anybody here wants to be a part of that, this is kind of what they're doing all day. They are doing a break. I think you guys are for lunch, correct? And then they're going to get back to dialing again and making calls. So feel free to kind of walk around, listen, and do your own calls and participate.
We're doing it every month, so the second Wednesday of every month, as the little bubble says.
Awesome. And I think we can probably just put that on our calendar too, so that everyone can see that it's an all day second Wednesday. Awesome.
We have freezies and stuff.
I feel like it's bringing me back to like childhood right now and all the freezy pops. Awesome. All right. July listing contest. So these are our prizes, right? So I'm obviously obsessed with Yeti and you guys agreed last week. So this is the cooler for the grand prize. Silver prize is going to be the Yeti bucket. And no, it is not like the Home Depot bucket. The handle is better. There's a caddy on the inside. It's phenomenal. I have one. And then all of the additional prizes are going to be different gift cards. So we are going to be giving the pull tabs out because people have not been coming to grab them, which you can throughout the week. But today, I think the next slide is actually going to show what pull tabs people can get. So come up if your name is on here and grab your pull tabs.
Also, everybody that's here in the meeting today gets 5 pull tabs, so I'm just gonna bring some around to you throughout the meeting.
What was that?
Is that our entire team?
Nope.
I don't
You
think
have-
I did anything to earn
You
that.
have 20 for adding to your downline this month.
Oh.
Okay.
Then you have,
And you can give them,
30
divvy them out however you would like, because there's some people that are multiple listings, but we can only give it to one person on that listing. Just per the way, especially even if it is a team, it's always the listing agent, even if it's, you know what I mean? Correct. Yep. And then you can
Rip
divvy
some
them out
tabs.
unless the specific listing
some
agent
beers and
tells us it was a
popcorn? Let's
referral
go.
from Fire Agent.
your pull tab says a winner. Keep it. Do not throw it away, obviously, and bring it to myself or Lydia.
And they'll tell you which bucket you can put your pull tab in for the drawing. You got another question? She's like this. I'm pretty sure I don't get 50.
I was like, I didn't do anything to deserve that. Where is it listed what different things are worth it?
That was the last slide. So 5 pull tabs for attending a training in person, 10 pull tabs for connecting a recruiting lead to me, 15 pull tabs for a submitted signed listing contract, and then 20 pull tabs for adding to your downline in the month of July. Cool. Any questions regarding that? Awesome. All right, so this Thursday, so tomorrow, this is going to be an in-person only. Lead yourself, lead others, lead the industry, and it's going to be at the KW Lakes Minneapolis office. The only way that you will see that is, I'm not sure if they're recording it even. Are they recording it? I don't think it's gonna be recorded, so it's only in person, and that is at 11 o'clock tomorrow, and that is led by Jen Briggs. Remind me what's Remind again. That is going to be Tuesday, July 19th, and that is also at KW Lakes Minneapolis office. And that will also be on Zoom though as well. So you can attend that distantly. All right, so the cultural award is going to be presented by Zach. And I will let him present this to this person.
Well.
Okay, you're like, on that note,
Well,
where did she
I'll
go?
talk good about her even though she's not here, I
Okay.
guess. So Maddie, since she's the one that just walked out, she's always, helping us, kind of guiding us as a new group, even though she's part of it. She's always attending meetings and attending trainings, and even though we're not there, she's taking notes for us and sharing that as a group. She's always kind of there, ready to help, and I think the Dwellings win this at some point in time, but not her specifically, but I just wanted to kind of. shout
I
her
think
out.
over,
I know.
Let's come back too when she comes back in.
Thanks.
Either
Thank
way,
you.
I think that it's well deserved by her, for sure.
I am very surprised I got it for her because she just does so much for everyone in the office. but Happy to change.
Awesome, awesome.
Oh, that's
One of the grand entrance.
And some of that. no?
It was a good thing you were gone.
Okay.
You want me to say it all again?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she understands why she gets it.
Now you stand up there and get it though.
I can tell she likes being center of
As
attention.
much as I do, yeah. Yeah, I'm not great with words, but basically you're always there to help us. You know, although you're a part of the new agent group, you're always going to meetings, going to trainings. And when you go to those trainings, if someone's not able to go, or even if someone doesn't even say that they were interested, you take notes and still share all of the notes and everything. And you're always willing to help everyone out. And
Okay, all right.
Just like
Alright, so-
a short 3 to 5 minute speech. would be
Yeah.
okay.
Tonight, good, but.
5-minute speech, really, Derek?
Short, you know.
So we actually had quite a few cappers, and 2 of them capped in less than a month, which is incredibly impressive. So congratulations to Kevin and Dan and Bethany and Mike and Elsa. Well, many people used to get the caps and then there was water bottles, and I find the caps and the water bottles end up going nowhere or in the garbage or on our shelves. And so, yeah, so we've now transitioned into a framed certificate instead. All right, so now we're gonna get into June numbers. So all of these numbers are reflecting last month. As you know, month after month, we've kind of talked about different things. So you're getting a hang of what it looks like with, what was under contract this month was going to kind of tell us what was coming up the following month, right? So as we go through these are the congratulations numbers first, and then right after that, we're going to talk about where the market is at. So I always say, as we are doing these numbers, I would like everyone to be clapping and congratulating and having energy. If there is not, we will go get the clappers. Why? Because everybody deserves the celebration and the congratulations. And Wendy knows how much I do actually love the clappers, so don't tempt me. Don't tempt us. All right, you will get started because there's a lot to celebrate. There's clappers too. Wendy was smiling at me. Gosh.
I'm putting out fires right now.
All right, so listings taken, and this is top individuals. Number one, I guess tied is Jacob and Jennifer with 2 listings. Month after month, I think we had like 2 or 3 individual agents taking listings. Because a lot of the top teams were taking the listings and listings were down. So seeing multiple individual agents taking is really incredible. And also means that they're out there, making the calls or connecting with their sphere. Listings taken volume, Jennifer at 1.1, Jordan at 1.1. All right, closed volume for top individuals. We've got Kevin Campbell at 3. I think this is the first slide this year where everyone's been over 1 million.
Yeah.
Like, that's incredible.
Sweet.
That's amazing. So, it might have taken some time for those closed listings, but, or those closed transactions, but this is awesome. This is awesome to see. Closed GCI, you've got Kevin Campbell in the number 1 spot. All right, top teams. We've got listings taken, the exceptional home team with 3 kids. Listings taken volume with 1.5. the exceptional home team. All right, we got closed volume for top teams. We got 2.8 million. Yeah, we've got Reserve Property Twins and then all right, top groups. We've got listings taken 7 with the Sorrento team. That's the Milton group. Taken volume, Sorrento team at 3.9. The meeting.
We missed those. That's okay.
All right, so we've got closed volume in June. We've got the Homers group with 12.3. Okay, so if at any point in time, anyone is wanting to ask anyone questions, when you've got groups that are doing 12 million, 7 million, 5 million, 3 million, and 2 million in a month, there are people available as resources that we should be learning from, because those are remarkable numbers, and especially for June. Like, quite honestly, those are huge numbers for June. So nice job, guys. Closed GCI, you got the Homers group in the #1 spot, Sorrento team. What I really like about that is that there's one female group in there that's right on the tail of the male group.
Alyssa just told me she's going on the Homers.
I was joking. I'm like, 12 million. Here's Jeff and Justin.
Well, it needs a-
12 million.
We did just add a male to our team.
We're not a
so
female
everyone
group.
pray
We're not a
for
female
Jordan.
group anymore.
Pray for Jordan.
Mainly meaning the leader of that group is what I meant, because there's other females on the other teams as well. All right, so now these are market center numbers. This is our market center versus the MLS versus the area. And down here, it shows you what the area includes. So if you have found different numbers, it might be because you're, 7-county metro or wherever you're pulling those from. So in regards to closed units, we are still, for June, we're down by 16%, whereas the MLS is down by 8.2, and the area is down by 6.7. And that kind of coincides though with where the numbers were at previous months. So, as we go down and we take a look at where contracts, which are also seem to be down again in June, are starting to actually change. Some of the volume you're going to see is up. So, right, you're seeing 12 million. One of the other things that we should add as we're moving in is how many units is that? Because the actual price point on that might be different as well. So closed volume, we're behind about 6.9%. The MLS is 2%. And then the area is at 1.4. So these numbers mean something for us in regards to when we're talking about taking market share, right? So if we were, neck and neck with the MLS, we're just trending with the market, right? What this is telling us is that we are not trending with the market as a market center. Some of that though too depends on, it's not some of the outskirts where some of our agents are working. So this is more of a centralized area. Does that make sense? Does anyone have questions regarding that or comments?
I was gonna ask, did we lose any big producers in the last year that would affect inflate those?
No, because I think the one larger producer that we lost, or the team, has now been gone, I think, for a year. So that would have maybe affected like the December time period. But otherwise, and most of the agents that we've lost have either been non-producing or a team member of some sort, which is obviously a positive, but also saying again, the units are out there. We just need to be able to take them, right? Versus kind of what I see is we ride on the volume portion a lot of times, because the volume here is a lot higher, I think, than most offices, like our average sales price. Right. Listings taken, we're down about 23%, 24%. MLS is still down 4.4%, and the area is down about 4.4% as well. Listings taken volume, we are behind about 15%. MLS is 5.6, and the area is 7.3. So again, when you look at that particular area versus MLS wide, even when you add in St. Louis Park, you still have, Keith Haven and Excelsior that's kind of expanding that volume piece. Listings sold is down 23.8. MLS is 8.2, and then the area is 6.7%. When you look at listings sold versus listings volume, so we're down 23, but our volume is, only -11. So that's a pretty large difference in that. And the MLS is actually up in regards to volume 2%, as well as the area 1.4. Contracts written, we're down 28.4. The MLS was down 10%, as the area was down about 9%. I want to talk about that a little bit. So this was June. What were you guys feeling in June that we're down by 28%?
Interest rates go up like a whole point over the weekend.
Yeah, but I'm saying, in regards to that, right? Obviously the MLS and the area are down, but we are down quite a bit more than the area or MLS. So besides that piece of it, right? So is that a mechanics, like we don't know the script maybe to talk around that? Because there's more contracts being written than what we're performing at, essentially.
Personally, we had a good June.
Okay.
And I was spending too much time working on those closings.
Okay.
Not enough time working on new contacts. And then it slapped me in the face when interest rates went up, and I had a bunch of people panic. So our July looks rough.
So the pipeline might have not been as deep, and then when the interest rates did go up, the pipeline shrunk even more.
Yeah, and I think it's rebuilding, right? Interest rates have gone down. And that's why we're doing more of these things like calling and being more proactive, because it's exactly what we talked about at the last team meeting, where this ebb and flow, like how do we create more stabilization throughout our monthly volume. And really we care more about our units. So through our unit tracking.
Okay. What's interesting about that piece is when we're talking about lead gen and pipeline, who has a pipeline in here? Like a true pipeline, like there's a sheet of paper or there's some sort of tracking for a pipeline. Okay, are we adding to that every single week? Okay, and these are just questions. I actually got asked this as well from my coach, right? So are we adding to that every week? And in regards to that pipeline, how good is it? Where are they ranked, right? Because in our mind, it's a pipeline. What is it in their mind? Are they buying in 30 days? Are they buying now? Are they buying in 6 months? Are they buying in 3 months, right? Because if you're banking on a pipeline that's 10 people deep, but half of them aren't buying for 9 months, that's where this contract's written is coming from, right? Because you're waiting for them because you're like, well, I got this great pipeline. Let's not wait, right? Let's not wait for that pipeline. If they end up popping early and buying before they said they were, awesome. We can get help, right? Are you rating that pipeline? Is everyone doing that right now? Or is it just kind of like, ooh, these people are gonna probably buy this year? You guys do it weekly. So I'm gonna be completely honest. When I was in real estate for a really long time, I had this huge pipeline that I talked about, and I do this with coaching clients, and they have, these are all the people that are gonna buy. And this is what we're gonna sell this year, right? Because they're banking on these 6 people buying. And that's what they're, 3, 4, 5 million that they're selling is on those people. And you know what happens? We talk about those 5 people or those 10 people every coaching appointment. You know, what we talk about is, I don't want to talk about those 10 people anymore. Like, I want you to put those 10 people over here because they're still going to be there because they've been there for the last 3 months. Who are the new 10 people, right? That's where you're going to grow. That's where those numbers are going to grow, and that's where you're going to end up producing. And I know that becomes overwhelming, right? A lot of agents are like, yeah, but I got 10 buyers right now. Are they all looking and are they all ready right now? I can guarantee no. Yeah.
I found I'm assuming everyone's taken the KPA, and depending on where you rank on the optimism scale, that also really will affect your pipeline. So Kimberly on our team, the most optimistic, amazing human in the world. She added all these new people to our pipeline. And I realized very quickly, I was like, these are people, yes, they're humans, but are they going to actually transact in the next 3 months? I'm not sure. And so then that's where we bring in the ranking, where on the reverse, I am not optimistic at all. I'm very skeptical. And so my pipeline constantly looks too small. And then what happens is I'm not following up with them enough. And so I'd recommend that look at your KPA, think about how optimistic or not optimistic you are, and have that help influence your pipeline ranking and even how it looks.
Well, and if we're talking about buying and listing, right? What are the things, if you have a buyer, what are the things that it would make them like a 7, 8, or a 7 or above? What are the things that you would need? Okay.
They've scheduled showings.
Okay, even before this. I'm gonna write
Define timeline.
That's signed. If this is not signed, you have no pipeline, really. That's like a 7, 8, 9, or 10. If anyone tells me that they have someone that is like any of those numbers and you don't have this, that's not the case, especially in this market, because the first listing that comes on, everyone wants a new buyer. And I can guarantee you that that agent is like, do you have a buyer? Do you have a buyer rep sign? And if they say no, who do you think is going to be working with that buyer? That listing agent is going to be working with that buyer immediately, right? So if you don't have this, that's not a 7, 8, 9, or 10, and we aren't even going to talk about that being on your pipeline. Like, that's not even a conversation. Okay, so showings, what did you say? Define timeline? What else?
Yeah, lender.
Okay, so pre-approved.
I didn't-
Anything else besides these 4 things?
I mean, if you've done a buyer consultation.
So that's probably, you've probably done that before this. So these are the 4 main items. That's not a lot. Right? To really qualify someone into saying where they're at on that pipeline. So don't overthink it. Like, that's the whole point of this. Don't overthink this. And the other portion, if it's a listing, what are the things for the listing? Contract signed. Right? Define timeline. So I would put pictures in there, like in, you know what I mean? Like the defined timeline of prepping, photos. What else for this?
See where they're gonna go.
Okay. So almost like motivation and plan. It's even easier. Right? So I would encourage you, if you don't have a pipeline, start with that and then figure out where they're at on it. Because if we just put them on there hoping that in the next 6 months someone buys, there's no defined timeline, there's no motivation, and there's no representation on either side, those are not clients. Those are like hopes and dreams. Like truly, that's like a hope. I'm hoping that they're gonna buy this year so that I get paid. And that's where you're functioning at, right? You're not functioning as a business, you're hoping. Okay. So contract written volume, you're only down 18, again, versus the amount of units. I don't put a lot of stake in that volume piece because that can change in a very quick hurry. And if that changes, your whole paycheck changes. Units, you can define that a little bit better, right? MLS is down by 1.4 and the area is down 1.7. All right, so this is comparison year over year. So when we take a look at this, we're kind of out of, like, when we were comparing some of the like COVID year to now, because there was residual, right now was probably the time where we were normalizing a little bit more last year. So when we look month over month, it's a little bit easier to compare. But closed units were at 105 compared to 122. Closed volume, we're at 52.8 versus 58.6. Listings taken, we took 42 this year and we took 65 last year. So what's interesting about this is we've grown as an office. We actually have a positive net in of agents that have come into this office, and yet our units and our listings taken is down. So that means, you know, something's going on with the listing portion. Either it's incredibly competitive out there, right? We're having a hard time making the contacts or the leads or getting the appointments, or just converting those appointments to actual listings. I take a hard look at that individually as your business of what am I doing? Am I making enough contacts that are listing specific, right? Because we all know that listings ends up, you know, leading to more leads. It leads to buyers, more listings. That's kind of the cream of the crop area, right? So if it's more of a reflection on what you're doing right now, and mid-year is a great time to do that. Where are you at on your goal? And what are the amount of contacts you're making a week to get those appointments? And are they buyer heavy or listing? Because listings are out there. We're just not taking them.
Do you feel like it could potentially be because there's a lot more like discount brokerages, and the last year people have been very like FSBO focused on like, I could just do this by myself. So if I hire like the Giving Group who charges like 3%, and you know, then they're like, so just curious, because like KW as a whole, I feel like most of us don't discount our, I don't know, but I don't feel like we discount our
I would say that that can be a piece of it, right? But that also means that there needs to be the script that you have in place for why someone shouldn't do that. I don't know if that's the piece or if we just don't have enough appointments to get a listing. Because raise your hand, how many people have lost listings in a listing appointment right now?
In the last month.
In the last month. Like percentage, maybe let's just, okay, what is a percentage of listings you've lost in an appointment in the last, like, let's just say 3 months? Okay.
Are those from your sphere or where are those coming from?
Yes.
All sphere.
Not necessarily all sphere, but have been both, yeah.
And have you called up to ask why?
Yeah.
And what were the reasons?
Price.
How you priced it or?
Not
commission?
price, sorry, cost of sale, yeah.
Okay. Okay, anyone else?
That mean commission?
Yeah.
Are we going on listing appointments?
Yeah, I think a majority of us are not going on.
Okay, so if we're not going on listing appointments, how can we help with that piece, right? So if we're not going on listing appointments, who are we calling right now? Or who are we contacting, or where are our lead sources? Or who are we targeting? Like, let's make this an open conversation right now, because it's not going to get better if we don't talk about it. Those that are not going on listing appointments, who are we talking to?
I'm probably just not going on enough.
Okay.
Because I think as a team, we've maybe lost 4 all year.
Okay.
And they've all been due to either another agent saying they could get them a higher price, which FYI they didn't, right? Yeah. Have to sneak that in there. And then two, same to Derek, like commission. So how we've now changed that is we'll take their suggestion on the price, but then we are pre-building in price reductions. Okay, in the conversation. And then two is we've implemented a 5.5% commission if they do both sides with us and then they don't get our custom video. Okay. And that's worked for the last couple that have pushed back because I wasn't willing to lose 2 transactions over 0.5%.
Okay. I think that's a really good point. And Rick, I know he's not in here, has an amazing listing presentation where he almost has like tiers, right? Like, hey, this is awesome. You get all of these things, right? For 6.5, I don't know what it is, but 6.5%. You get these things for 6.25, or you could choose 6% and you just get the complete basics, right? And they can choose whatever it is. When you give people those choices, no one really wants the discount. Nobody does. Everybody wants all of it for the discount, but they don't want to lose anything for the discount. You take away like any of your like pluses on your listing presentation, I guarantee they're going to be like, oh, we'll go with the middle of the road, right? They might not go high end, but they're not going to like pick the cheap one because they're like, oh, we'll just do 6.2.5, right?
Because if they pick a flat fee, they're getting even worse than that anyway. They just have never seen it broken down before.
And you have to be obvious, you have to be confident enough to be able to speak to what you're offering, right? If you're just saying, hey, here's your price point, have it kind of laid out for them. And then ask them, awesome. So what is that person doing for 4.5% or 5% or 4%? And I guarantee they have no idea. Right? So at that point, they're like, ooh, I don't know. The sign's in the yard, right? And they're going to slap it on the MLS and you're going to get all these buyers. Well, that's interesting because showings are down by X, right? So be able to speak to it. And even if you don't have listings, you can speak to all of these things by looking at the MLS and finding those numbers. You don't have to have a listing yourself at all. You can figure out what the showings are in that neighborhood. You can find out what the average sales price is in that neighborhood. And you can say all the things that you're going to do for that, right? And you would have never had to list a property ever in your entire life.
Helped us or helped me with the commission split on my listing presentation, and she showed me hers, and that's the only reason why I got it, my listing.
Okay.
It was amazing because they were concerned, they wanted to negotiate commission, so we put 6, this is what you get, 6.5, this is what you get, and 7 is like, come on, we know they are not going to choose 7. Then that made them much more comfortable with choosing 6, and then they're like, okay, this is good. And it was like awesome, like really having that saved us.
I think we're one of the only industries that truly believes that someone should negotiate our pay. Do you go into Target and say, I am not paying $4 for that Colgate toothpaste? I will give you 2, right? No one does that. No one goes into a doctor's office and tells them they're not paying for the X-ray. Like that doesn't happen, right? So you have to get to that point where it's almost the like self-awareness that I'm going to go into this. If I lose it because someone's going to tell me I'm not worth it, I need more people to talk to, right? Because that's also not worth it, is reducing it, because I guarantee that client's going to be a pain in your ass. Pardon the French, but they will be. The moment that you do that, it's not, oh, don't worry, we're going to be the easiest client. No, they're not. They already aren't. They're not going to be, right? So like you have to feel that inside where it's not worth the negotiation. I guarantee you it's not.
Kimi, I got some humble pie because I think I've gotten too lazy in going into the appointment because my conversion ratio years past has been 100%. Yep. So you get lazy, you walk into one and you don't get it and you're like, oh crap. And so that was good for me to go, I need to step up my game now that there's more pressure in the market. So I just encourage you, if you can relate to that. I mean, I've definitely had that quite a bit this year.
Well, the other part about that too is what professional, hopefully besides like a surgeon, like is 100% at everything, right? Is a quarterback 100% every throw is completed? No. Right? Is whatever game you watch, whatever you do, like no one is 100% all the time. And if you're getting 100% of your listing appointments, I'd say up your listing appointments.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're staying in this nice little fluffy comfort zone of I'm only going on the ones that I know people because this feels nice. And that's limiting your growth by a long shot. I mean, sometimes I really enjoy no. Like I really enjoy it. Colleen?
I have been challenging myself when I get 100% of my listing appointments. To me, that means that I am not prospecting because those are just the ones that are kind of givens. And like where you walk in and they're like, okay, whatever you say. And like, that's wonderful. And it's a great part of business. But to me, that means I'm not working hard enough. So Derek, I think it's great that you're losing because it means that you're working.
I'm not going on enough.
Yeah.
And, yes.
And it means that you're challenging yourself. You're not just taking the whatever cream off the top.
If I want to be completely honest, I want everyone to have fun again with real estate. I feel, and I'm going to be really point blank about this, not everyone I'm looking at in here I know has been having fun. Am I on point on that one? Like this can be fun, but if you make it daunting all the time and like, oh, I got rejected again. Cool. I get rejected every day by a million agents. Like I get hung up on a lot. I get told I don't know what I'm talking about a lot, right? Awesome. I don't need to be in business with that person. Or I'm going to call you again in a month and we're going to have the same conversation and they're going to call me up and they're going to be like, perfect example, right? Michelle, I'm in the airport. You were kind of teetering between here and another agency, right? And I was like, oh gosh, she might not come here. And I was like, I think I had like, it was early in the morning, like ponytail up, like just not probably even like presentable to anyone that I don't know that well. I was like, hey, how are you? How's your meeting? Like you were going somewhere, Arizona.
5 in the morning.
It was 5. Give it a break. Yeah, it was. And she kind of turned around and she was like, who are you, right? Because like it's out of context.
That's what it was. It was not because you just woke up.
Yeah, like it was like out of context, and I was like, "It's Kami from KW Lake Minnetonka," and she was like, "Oh, like it's just put yourself out there." I could have completely walked past you and been like, you would have known no different, right? Not at all. And of course, my daughter's embarrassed. She's like, "Why are you always working? We're at the airport. What are you doing?" And I saw 2 other people there. And I set another appointment with another agent that exact same time at like 6 a.m. in the morning. I think I texted you that, Derek, or I texted someone. Maybe it was it was Jeff. I was like, I just set appointments at the airport. So it's like, put yourself out there, right? And don't be afraid of it. Like, just make relationships. And if it doesn't work out that you list the property or help buy them a house, they can still be in your sphere and wish them the best of luck. Right? Because even if you don't get that listing, if those people didn't sell it for what they were supposed to, you'll be their next call, I am sure, when they go to sell or buy or they refer someone else, because that agent didn't perform the way they said they were going to. Like, let's let everyone else screw it up. They're going to get out of the business, right? Because reputation happens. You stay strong as agents and have fun. Because if it's not fun, don't do it. Like just don't do it. And fun doesn't mean that you're, always getting appointments and whatnot. Just are you enjoying what you're doing? That's the fun. Guys agree? Okay.
I would say stay close to that stuff too, because stale listings, price reductions, agents not doing their job, that is going to be a major thing in the next 6 months to a year for the foreseeable future because the market's shifted. So an agent that isn't putting any effort in, isn't marketing the property, improperly priced the house, like track your area, whatever, see those agents that are doing that, be that. Yeah, don't burn that bridge, be that second agent. You can pick up a lot of listings there, be like, told you so.
I know
Do this right now.
I know we don't all do social media, but I'm telling you, the more knowledge you can put out in social media, Not, hey, I'm doing all the listings all the time, right? Like, that's great too, but actually provide knowledge about what the market's doing, about what neighborhoods are doing. Like, provide value, and people are going to become attracted to that, or they're going to ask you questions. Or if they have a listing and it's already listed and you're giving information that their agent isn't, I can guarantee there's going to be a phone call at some point in time. All right, listings taken volume, we are at 19.5. Last year, we were at 30.1. Listings sold, we are at 48. Last year, we were at 56. Listings sold volume, we were at 26.3, and or this year we're at 26.3, and last year at 29.5. That's where, when you look at those numbers, like, ooh, yay, volume's close, but the units aren't, right? Contracts written, we are at 111 this year. We were at 126 last year. So again, when we look at that contracts written, that's what's going to tell us next month is, right? Or the following month. And as we're kind of projecting for the second half of the year, please do me a favor and start counting units. I know you don't want to. I know that volume sounds better. I know that like that's like makes everybody happy, but start counting units. Because if, you know, units are at a certain amount, that's where we can actually project where you can be next year when we start planning goals for 2023. Contracts written volume, we're at 56.2, and last year we're at 65. Closed GCI. Okay, so this is the other piece. So closed GCI, so this is the gross commission that came in. This year we're at 1.3 million. Last year we were at 1.5. Okay, so when we looked at closed units, we were pretty far apart, actually. I mean, and then you look at what the GCI was, that's awesome. We're still making pretty close to what we made last year by less units. But imagine if we had the same that we did, what that would look like. And then profit share. This year we were at 8,707, which is amazing because we were at 0 for quite some months. And the year before we were at 20,900. So as we keep kind of inching up, you're seeing that profit change, since that change in the cap. And you're just going to see that keep going as the months go on. And if, you know, once you see kind of the winter months, November, December, October, the way that we have the cap management, so we kind of shift where everyone caps, it's looking really, really great for the winter months. So as an office, we also prepare for, you know, business changes, just like you should as business owners. So hopefully that just keeps kind of skyrocketing and we go up to that 20,000 again. Do you guys have any questions in regards to this? All right.
Amy, can I make a suggestion?
Yeah,
We add per agent productivity to that.
we absolutely can.
I think that'd be a really interesting stat to track as a market center.
It's a very interesting stat. I don't have the multi-year trends in front of me, but as an office, we are incredibly low.
How you do?
How do you
Like
do it?
incredibly low.
Because I think that might help some like producing agents just understand where we're at as a market center. And I mean,
So here,
really help people that aren't.
so let's just talk about closed units per agent in June. How many you think per agent we had? I'll tell you, 0.7.
Yeah.
What? 0.7.
Over 12 months.
So
No, in June.
as an office, right? So last year, all year, right? Average units closed per agent was 9.5 for the whole year. So we were less than 10 deals per agent. Right now, we're trending at 3.4.
Which is not a livable income.
Is not. No. Nope. Let's talk about So GCI per agent. This one's a little skewed, but GCI per agent last month was 9,000.